Hey everybody, good morning. Sani Yusuf back here. And it's very early, I have my morning voice on still. It's only just like around 9 o'clock. And I was watching a video today from the Roommates podcast. If you don't know, the Roommates podcast run by a guy called Hafiz Bawako. And he's interviewing this gentleman called Dr. Jordan Peterson, who some of you might know. And I'm big fans of, actually. I'm a big fan of him. And they were talking about truth. And so this video is going to be titled The Importance of Truth Telling, or Why is it very important to be truthful. And yesterday I tweeted something on Twitter. I said, I'm at a place in my life where I'm pretty darn happy. Pretty darn happy. I don't go to bed thinking what if what. I don't wake up thinking what, I wake up and I go to sleep pretty much happy. And the reason for that, like, don't get me wrong, I haven't achieved half of the things I want to achieve in my life. I have not made as much money as I want to. I've not fully retired my mother. I've not fully retired my father. I want to be able to give my mother a credit card one day and just tell her, hey, go burn it up. I want to be able to give my father, all the things I really want to do. Build my mom her charity, her orphanage, my dad as well. They've gotten to the place where they've given me everything in my life, and despite the fact that they're okay, I want to pay it forwards. But obviously my bank account is not set up that way to do all the things I want to do. But it's so interesting. While I think about all the things I haven't achieved in my life, one thing I'm very grateful is I never lose sight of where I have gotten to, how far I've come. Because sometimes we lose sight in what we haven't achieved yet, in place of, like, and we forget how far we've actually come in the journey. So it's like a mirage. I don't know if you understand what a mirage is, the concept. When you're driving on the highway, there's always this like watery thing that looks like you're always going to reach it, but the further you drive, it's always like the distance doesn't change. And that's kind of how I see when people tie their happiness or their outcomes, happiness in life, to outcomes. I don't do that. I set goals. I compete. I do not compare. I compete very, very well. But if I do not get something, I don't lose sleep. I understand. I regroup, because the whole point of life is to aim, and you might miss. You're probably gonna miss most times, but you only need to hit the target once for there to be a connection, right? And sometimes maybe it's not the right target for you. It's not all targets you're going to meet. That's fine as well. But as long as you're able to be self-critical. So with that said, it's really about truth telling. I like to be truthful. Everybody lies. Everyone lies on some level. But I like to be truthful. Most importantly, I like to be truthful to myself. And I think that is the truth that a lot of people fail, or they struggle with, being truthful to yourself. Because it's very easy to lie to yourself. It's harder to lie to others because they can call you out on your bullshit. Right? People can call you out on your BS. If I tell you I'm the richest guy in the world, you can call me out. You can prove it. But if I lie to myself that I'm the richest guy in the world, and I genuinely believe that I'm the richest guy in the world, it's a very dangerous thing, because there's nobody else in my head to tell me maybe not. Because somebody can tell me from the outside, but I may not be self-aware to reflect, am I really what I say I am? And being honest is really, with yourself, is finding your current limitations. I think that's how I tend to be honest with myself. So let's say I want to apply for a job, right? Honesty is assessing my ability and understanding what I like. What am I great at? Right? It's looking at my own CV and say, what am I great at? And in an objective way. And that would require time and time and time. Like, you're not always going to get that self-assessment correct. Sometimes you're going to overestimate, sometimes you're going to underestimate. But as long as you're trying to always find a balance between this overestimation and underestimation, somewhere in between, you're kind of fine. So sometimes you might lean towards overestimation, some might lean towards underestimation. But you want to keep, the more you refine that ability to self-reflect and be honest with yourself, that range for margin for error, that range that provides you margin for error, becomes smaller and smaller. So you become when you make that connect assessment of yourself, there's not a lot of room to move, and you keep reassessing so that when you do go up, your assessment also goes up. And that's the hard thing to do, because a lot of people think they know themselves. When you ask yourself, and what they want as well, when you ask yourself, what do I want? Who am I? A lot of people are not ready for that question, because they will uncover a lot of uncomfortable truths about themselves that they already know, but they've put it on the ground somewhere. It's not easy to say accept you're a narcissist. It's not easy to accept that maybe you got something wrong. It's not easy to accept that you could do something better. You could say something better. You could do this, or you could do that better. It's not very easy. It's not flattering to accept that you're fallible. But when you get to the place where you're comfortable with your limitations, not comfortable, but you are accepting of your limitation, your current limitations, then you can do something about it to remove that limitation, or to turn that limitation into something, to channel that energy and improve on that limitation. I'll give you an example. Recently, for the past few years, I don't really like routine. People look at me and they say you do a lot, you do really really well, but I don't really like routine. I don't have set waking up times, set sleeping times. I work at night till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. some days, you know, and all of that. So recently, I decided to make a change. I said, I need to be more efficient, because I want to be able to monetize my time better. Because I have all this time and I have all these people that want to pay me money for my time. I need to find a smart way to do this. So, what did I do? I started waking up early and sleeping earlier. Now, traditionally, I would wake up, you know, like fully start my day 10 the earliest, 9. I don't really try doing really cool stuff till like 11 or 12, right? I'm eating breakfast at like 1. So it's all over. But here's the thing: whenever I would go to I would go to Africa, I would go to Nigeria specifically, I would just go back to my old routine when I was like a high school kid, when I still lived in Nigeria. And I would feel stronger, I would feel energized, I would be able to, I want to wake up and do things. But when I would come to England, I would, feel. So I'd blame the weather, it's this, it's that. But how was I expecting to achieve the same outcomes when I was living two different routines? In Nigeria, I would sleep by 11, 12 max. By 4, 5 a.m., I'm up, because I'm Muslim. And over the years, I grew up, at 5:30, 5 a.m., would wake up to go pray together as a family. So that became a routine. I was used to that. But in England, because the timings are different, sometimes you don't have to wake up as early as possible. Sometimes you wake up, you have to just pray around 2 a.m. And you don't, so many things. So that really skewed my process. So it was really interesting. It was really, really, really interesting. And I was like, recently, I just come back to that routine. And here's the thing: I've just literally come back from Nigeria, and I feel pretty much the same way as I do, because I've changed this routine. But I had to first of all ask myself, what do I want? Who am I? And accept that I had a limitation. You understand? I had to accept that I had a limitation. I had to accept that I had a limitation, which means that I have to basically say, hey, Sunny, for the life you want to live, you need to get more hours per day, and as early as possible. Now I'm starting my day 7, 6, like work wise, so I'm waking up even earlier, 7, 8, 6:30, and I'm getting so much more done. I'm done with work by 4. Like in days, I'm still working till 6. So now I have all this time from 4 to like 12, 1, to work on my side project, to do other works, to make more money, to eat healthy. Now I find it very easy to cook. I find it very easy to eat more like 3 square meals. I want to go on workout. I really find my body's telling me workout. So I find it much easier. to do all of that. And the reason why is because I had to be honest with myself. I had to look at myself and tell myself, what do you want? What are your limitations? Right? So I had to be honest, brutally honest with myself. And that's the beginning of clarity. That's where, if you want to have understanding as a human being, honesty is the very important thing. And when you start becoming honest to yourself, there is a strength that you feel from within. You start to really feel strong, because every time you tell yourself the truth, you solidify something. If I can tell myself that I'm a piece of shit for not having a proper sleep routine and I need to fix that up, there's nothing you can tell me that's going to make me feel weird about it, because I've accepted it and I've decided to do something about it. And when you tell yourself the truth, then you open the room for betterment. You can better yourself. If I do not agree that I'm a nasty person, then it's going to be more difficult for me to become a better person. But if I agree that there are things about me that are nasty that I can improve, right? I can then go like that. Be very obsessed with self-improvement and self-awareness. And every time you lie, there's a part of you that you lose. Like you when you lie, because your brain knows you're lying, except if you're like a psychopath, right? You have to convince yourself that this is true so that you can act out a role that another person will believe. So you're lying to two people: yourself and other people. And that is very, you lose a bit of yourself. You lose a bit of yourself. So you gotta be able to tell yourself the truth. You gotta be able to tell the truth. And one of the reasons why I sleep well and I wake up early, like I say, I sleep well and I wake up well, because like I have a happy life. Like I always say, I have a very, very happy life. I like thank God. Like I'm relatively a very happy person with the amount of money I make, which is not a lot. I found ways to just live content. I'm very content. It's because when I go to bed, I don't go to bed with lies in my head. I don't go to bed thinking I'm lying to this person, or I'm lying to myself. Or if I am lying to another person, I do go to bed with the knowledge that this is not good. I need to do something. I don't go to bed with this, forget about that, forget about this, it's okay. No. So I go to bed with a clean heart, with a clean mind. And I think that is the beginning of peace, where I know I've done the best I can do today, and I've been as truthful and as honest to myself and to other people in this world. And you're going to falter. There will be days where you'd have to, break the rules. That's what makes you human being. But as long as you are honest about it to yourself first, you'd feel this level of strength, and it gives you confidence. It gives you self-esteem, right? If you look at most people that lie a lot, it's self-esteem, or they don't really tend to have confidence. Or so you become formidable, you become more resilient, because you're willing to handle the truth. So when somebody gives you an unflattering truth, like you smell, you're willing to suppress your emotions and listen. Do I actually smell? And I'm not saying you do. That's what happens. That's why we have a lot of fragile people in this current generation, where trigger warnings here and there. Is because a lot of people are not willing to accept the inner truth, right? So when you do communicate something that is truthful to them from the external point of view, they would rather stay in that naive place where, don't tell me, I don't want to hear, versus, okay, what, let me accept this so that I can do something about it. Because today it's easier to blame another person, to place responsibility on another person for your own faltering. So just to round up this video, tell the truth, tell people the truth, tell yourself the truth, right? And I'll round up one of the I think it's Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life, right? 12 rules for life. I believe it is rule 4. No. Let's see, which one is rule 8. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie, right? Like, it's a very interesting rule, and I recommend this book, 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson. It's a very amazing book. Tell the truth, or at least do not lie, right? Always tell the truth, or try not to lie. Try not to lie. There's nothing more I can say about that, and I hope someone finds this very um, useful. No. Okay. Bye bye.